I forgot to put that.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the comic books. Can you hear me?
It like went out and then just came back.
It's because it was connected. Where we talk TV, movies, comic books, pop culture, and everything in between. I am your host, Evan Bernstein. And joining me, as always, is the man who brings the heat, the takes, and just enough chaos to keep me on my toes. Film fanatic, comic book movie lover, and my guy, Zach Oldburn.
Thank you for that. Beautiful. Every time you surprise me, I'm like, what is he gonna say this week to introduce me? And you get me every time.
I was keeping it short and sweet the past few times. I was like, you know what? We got to get back. We got to get back in the game and give my guy his proper introduction. And what better way to do it than on an epic episode of the Evan edition? Because we got a lot of fun stuff to get into. We got the worst thing to ever happen in Hollywood. That's right. Paramount is gonna buy Warner Brothers. We keep getting the tug of war, but it seems like Netflix is out. We got some great reactions from Ryan Gosling's Project Hail Mary. And we're going to talk a little bit about that God of War picture. Yikes for some people. We're going to talk a little Avengers Doomsday rumors, some Sony Spider-Verse live action reboots, and some Mortal Kombat. So we got a lot to get into. Before we get into that, Zach, how are you?
I'm doing good. Right before this, I might have been watching one of the worst movies I've seen this year.
What is it? Scream 7?
No, I boycotted that. Relationship Goals, Prime Video rom-com with Kelly Rowland and Method Man.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't really mess with Kelly Rowland, to be honest. I have heard she's a huge bitch. Like,
oh, really?
To people, to staff, like hella rude, hella short with people. You never know, but now with like the internets, people who work are like, guess who I just ran? You know, like this bitch threw her jacket at me, you know, and so it's just like now it's you can't be rude anymore or it'll get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
I did not know that. That's the first time hearing that.
I used to love her because I mean I'm a Destiny's Child kid, you know.
Yeah, and I think she's a talented actress that just picks bad projects. But
well, she was great in Freddy vs. Jason.
So long ago.
That was the start of the acting career. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Pretty sure she was in that, right?
That's probably her first major role. Yeah, she definitely was in there.
Okay. Anything good that you watched, please?
Yeah, please. So on Friday, I watched Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Oh,
and it's a satirical mockumentary comedy. That's a sequel movie to a show that came out years ago that ended that I never watched, and it is my favorite movie of the year so far. It was ambitious, it was experimental, it was hilarious, and as I said in my review, I think I don't know how they didn't get arrested doing some of the stuff they did.
But it was good.
It was very, very good. Very, very good.
I've been watching a ton of series, actually. Yeah. So sorry, this guy is just like talking crap on TikTok, like that he hated Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I was like, you're literally the only person I've heard that. And then he was like, no one's backing you up on the internet. I'm like, bro, it's the highest rated Game of Thrones series out right now. Like it has like a 9.7 or something. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I've been watching a lot of TV now that I think about it. Now that we're talking about an epic TV series, I finished Night Agent season 3. It is fantastic. One of the best dad shows on TV right now. You know, those dad action.
I didn't even know they were on season 3 already. Wow.
Yeah. It is fantastic. It is really, really good. I highly recommend it. We finished Bridgerton season 4, part 2. Really good. Best season since the first, I would say, actually. And subsequently, it is the highest rated season out of all 4 now.
Oh, wow.
Kevin's in the house. What's up, Kevin? You're already talking about he feels bad. Let's take a look. Okay. He feels bad for WB employees. I don't see Paramount keeping WB lot once merger closes. Yeah, we are going to get into that. We are going to go down the whole history, the consequences, maybe some positives, if any. We got to try and keep it positive as much as possible while the Hollywood is burning. And so we will get into that. What else? I caught up on Drops of God on Apple. Incredible series. It is a series predominantly in French, Japanese, English, and some Spanish. Yeah, very, very cool show. Man, Apple just absolutely crushes it. But as I'm watching, and I'm also watching the Jennifer Garner. I watch a lot of TV. I'm watching the Jennifer Garner series as well on Apple, which came back for its 2nd season, and it's very good. And I was going to say, Apple has their trailer of shows coming out this year. I'm like, dang, this sways very genre heavy. Apple is in the genre business, like mostly sci-fi, and I love it.
Yeah, most of the stuff that works well on their platform is genre.
Yeah,
Besides, when you think about Monarch, Severance,
Monarch, just caught Monarch, Severance,
Murderbot was really good, and that's getting a 2nd season.
Murderbot. What is the other one?
It's like For All Mankind,
Silo, All Mankind.
There's another sci-fi show that
heavy sci-fi with Lee Pace. Heavy sci-fi. Isaac Asimov's The Fountain. Is it the
Founder
series?
Yeah.
Fountain. The Fountain.
Is it Fountain? I think they have the Founders as well.
Okay. Oh, and Dark Matter.
I think it's Dark Matter.
Oh my god, I love that series.
They have so many.
And now everyone's like, "Oh, Joel Edgerton." I'm like, "Bro, he's been doing this." They have so many. So many.
Yeah.
I caught up with the first 3 seasons of Paradise. Absolutely fantastic. The first episode of 2nd season with it focuses mainly on Shailene Woodley's character. One of the best episodes of the series, I would say. Top 5 episode for sure. It is
Paradise is a show called Paradise on Apple?
Hulu. It's on Hulu.
You're talking about the Sterling K. Brown.
I was going down the rest of my watches.
Oh,
of TV.
okay.
Yeah. I was off the genre Apple shows. They wish they had this because they love genre, but they don't because Hulu
I like Paradise.
Disney
it's really good. I didn't know Shailene Woodley was in the 2nd season.
Yes. So they dropped first 3. And fantastic as always. Oh my God, Sterling is the man, and he just won an NAACP award for that show. and I was just watching the NAACP highlights, and it's beautiful ceremony, especially after the shitty BAFTAs and all that mess. To have this as a follow-up to show the Black community that like you'll always have your back
Safe
covered
space.
with us. I forgot his name, but he was like, anyone who's white and has Tourette's, you can go, or go in the very, very back, please. So it was a slight joke, and it's a very sensitive subject because I don't want to be insensitive to people with Tourette's. But it was more about the way that the BAFTAs handled it, which was absolutely disgusting.
John Davidson, the man with Tourette's, was set up. I'm just gonna say, set up. He talked about there being a mic right in front of him. So like,
fail. Yeah, like what are we doing here?
Like,
what are we doing?
They set him up.
You know who actually had a great take on it, and I was just like, I was gonna actually play it on the show, but I'm like, nah, let's not get into it. I think her name is Jamie Lawson from Sinners.
Yeah, I saw that.
She had this take on the red carpet. I was like, exactly my sentiments. So there is so much stuff on TV, so much love being shown for things that didn't go how they should have. So what a whirlwind of a week of content, and we just lost our audience. No, I'm just kidding. So stay tuned though, because we have a lot of stuff coming up that we're going to get into, a lot of genre stuff, which is what we do on this show. And unfortunately, hail Paramount, they are coming after everything that we love. So without further ado, let's get into our first topic. And I want to talk a little bit about this. So in 2021, Mortal Kombat unfortunately was forced to come out on streaming because of the pandemic on HBO Max. And this gave an opportunity for a lot of people to see at home, what is this movie all about? And unfortunately, it was received terribly. And that could be just because, you know, sometimes it's better to see things on the big screen just because it gives the cinematic experience. So maybe that was already a shot in the foot. And there was no tournament. Where is the tournament in Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of issues with the first one. And then we heard that there's going to be a second one. And we're like, okay, could this be a redeemer of this franchise that deserves a good movie? You know, we had the Scorpion and Sub-Zero scenes, which were chef's kiss, one of the best, but that was like the first 9 minutes. And then it was like some guy with like hard skin that is not even part of the franchise. So complete miss. But they just dropped a second trailer for Mortal Kombat after delaying the movie to May. And maybe, just maybe, we got a banger on our hands. This comes to us from IGN. They say IGN just debuted the newest trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, which hits theaters on May 8, 2026. Like the first, this trailer focuses heavily on, like the first trailer. I'm like, not the first movie. On Carl Urban's Johnny Cage, one of the new combatants, nice, ING, joining the fight in the sequel. All signs point to Johnny being the de facto main character this time around, and we think that's a very good sign for the movie. Let's break down a little bit about where 2021's Mortal Kombat went astray before we get into the highlights of the trailer that you and I watched, Zach, and maybe how we can course correct those hiccups. Big hiccups. Oh, I also, speaking of hiccup, watched the live action How to Train Your Dragon finally, and it was fantastic. Sorry, I had to.
Really,
I watched too much things, bro. How do I have time? All right, so as we said, 2021's Mortal Kombat did not quite work out the way that they had hoped. 1995's Mortal Kombat still stands as just like a cult classic live action video game movie. Not the best, but definitely one of the best soundtracks, I would say.
Really fun.
And
it's stupid, but it's fun.
Stupid fun. It's stupid fun. It's nothing but, if not campy, silly martial arts romp, as IGN puts it. It's got multicolored ninjas that could be taken the wrong way, a rubber that could be taken the wrong way, four-arm mini boss monsters that could also be taken the wrong way, and Christopher Lambert hamming it up as a God of Thunder. It's got a mid-90s techno industrial mashup soundtrack which rocked, but it knew kind of exactly what it wanted to be. And then we get to the 2021 reboot. And on paper, the reboot had a lot going for it. It had a much better, special effects and production than its predecessor. It also took a fairly novel approach to the script, focusing on the interdimensional martial arts tournament, but on the eternal rivalry between Hiroyuki Sanada's Scorpion and Joe Taslim's Sub-Zero, which I hope I probably butchered those names, so I'm sorry. And in a perfect world, the reboot could have been a great showcase for how far the video game genre has come since 1995.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, in execution, that was not the case. It usually focused on Louis Tan's Cole Young, who was a made-up character for the movie. There was nothing to endear about the character to the audience. Like, the whole movie suffered as a result because it didn't really have any attachment to the original IP, which was an interesting choice. And so there was just a lot of issues. And it took 5 years, but Warner Brothers maybe has cracked the code on Mortal Kombat from what we've seen in this recent trailer that came out this past week. Mortal Kombat 2 is again directed by Simon McQuaid. Through this time, the script is written by Jeremy Slater. Much of the cast from the original film are returning, such as Sonata Scorpion, Jessica McNamie's Sonya Blade, Mikaud Brooks's Jax, Ludi Lin's Liu Kang. But there are plenty of new additions as well. We got Damon Harriman's Quan Chi, Martin Ford's Shao Kahn, and C.G. Bloomfeld's Baraka. But easily the most significant newcomer, is our boy Carl Urban's Johnny Cage. I feel like I've just talked way too much. I want to pick your brain on the trailer. Now that we're getting closer to the May release, we got a real trailer that focuses heavily on our main character, Johnny Cage, seeing the outworld. I think that was what it's called, through his eyes. And so it seems like we might have a banger. And from this picture, we're getting straight rip from the tournament scenes. So we're getting tournament heavy fights, which is what we've been foaming out the mouth for. What did you think of this trailer? And what do you think are the chances that it lives up to the potential that it laid out for us?
I think the trailer was very solid because what video game movies have been doing recently that's been successful is not doing one-to-one adaptations, but capturing the essence and the heart of what the video games are and dropping those Easter eggs so the fans will love it. Kind of what the MCU did when it first started, right? Not doing one-to-one of each comic, but capturing the heart and making the comic book fans get really excited, and then the casual fans want to go watch it because the comic book fans are excited. And I think video game movies are doing a good job of that. I think what the problem was with the first one, even though I didn't see it, but based on the description you just said, they tried to create a character that was supposed to be like kind of a vessel for the audience. Oh my God, look at all this. But then kind of created a trash protagonist to do that with. Instead of dragging someone from the game to do that, they made somebody up. It looked, from this trailer, it looks like we're taking one of the most famous characters from the game and doing the same thing again. Because based on the trailer, it looks like Johnny Cage had no idea about any of this. So he's going to be the avatar for us. He's going to be played by a beloved actor. He's going to have all the uniqueness of someone that's really charismatic, that asshole that you love to root for.
Right.
And it's just going to get everybody, including casual audiences that don't know anything about Mortal Kombat, right into it. And I like how colorful it is. I like how it focuses on the characters and not really the story itself, because at these type of movies, that's who you need to sell it on. I think Street Fighter did a really good job of that. And I think this trailer is doing a really good job of that. And I'm really excited to see how they pull it off. Am I super confident that it will live up to the hype? I'm not sure of Jeremy Slater's track record in terms of writing. I'm not familiar with him, but I didn't think I heard bad things about the direction of the fights in the first one. It was more that the story wasn't good. So if the same director's coming over, he has the great fights. If Jeremy Slater's a better writer than the last guy, and they uphold the heart of what Mortal Kombat is, this can be a banger.
You know, I really want this to be good. I mean, this is a beloved, 90s franchise that we grew up with, and it deserves a movie that is of the status and the height of those video games. And I think, from what we're seeing from Shao Kahn, who looks badass as all heck, and also the population in Outworld, we see him kind of Thanosing it up a little bit by torturing people in their hometown and taking over, different towns and worlds and cities and under his rule and his thumb. And it shows us a lot more of this world building that we were hoping we would get a lot from in the first one, but it just didn't quite land because we were focused on someone that has nothing to do with that world. And so to really bring it back to Outworld and see the people that live there, the princess and the king and the emperor, and really dive into what this world's all about, why there is a tournament, what this tournament means for the realms of man, and all this stuff. It makes it have heart, and it makes it have meaning. And that is what you want that we necessarily didn't get from the first Mortal Kombat. And so that is something that really makes me excited. I would
Tournament arcs work, man. Tournament arc revitalized Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Super was a tournament arc, and they got people back into it. Anime uses tournament arcs all the time, and Mortal Kombat literally has that built in. I don't know why they strayed away from it in the beginning.
Breaking news. Zendaya and Tom Holland are married.
Oh, you scared me.
MJ and Spider-Man are married. We'll talk about that when we talk about some Marvel stuff. I just like my wife just texted me. I'm like, I love that couple.
I thought they got married a while ago, though.
They probably did it secretly, but they got engaged a while ago secretly, and I think they announced it finally. Is what happened.
Gotcha.
Is maybe what she's getting at. She ain't reporting the news like us, so she ain't like us. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to have hope. I want to believe. My little X-Files. I want to believe. And so from this trailer, great trailer. It did exactly what it's supposed to do. It takes your excitement and it bumps it up a notch, or it takes no excitement that you had and gave you a little bit to hope for. And so I really hope that we get the Mortal Kombat that this IP deserves. Let us know what you guys think. Did you like the second trailer, and did it make you more excited? Do you think that they learned their lessons from the first one and they will finally deliver a true Mortal Kombat movie for the sequel? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts.
Evan, I have a question for you. I just started this.
Yes.
With so many movies this year being old franchises, do you think they might eat each other's milkshake? Masters of the Universe, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, they're all going kind of for this hokey, old school feel with modern technology, similar protagonists and similar villains in same vein. And I believe they're all coming around like that June, July, August situation, trying to go for that summer movie feel. Do you feel like there's a possibility that because whatever comes out first and is successful might make it harder for the other two?
This has always been a topic of discussion, right? Like, does this one eat the other one because they're so similar that it divides audiences? And that is definitely something that we've seen in the past. Something that we've also seen in the past is that it actually heightens people's excitement when they're good. That is the difference, because when something is good and you see something else similar coming out, the hype is now building up because you are in the mood of good, adaptation movies like this in this kind of genre. So I think it is a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? We've seen it happen recently last year where, we had Thunderbolts and then we had Fantastic Four. And Thunderbolts had mixed reactions, not from us, obviously, but from general audiences, and a lot didn't go to the theater. And then Fantastic Four came out, a lot didn't go to the theater, and it had mixed reactions. So it's really this thing where it's like it could hurt or help your movie. And so really with Mortal Kombat being the first one up, if you will, the other movies that you mentioned could really benefit from this movie doing well. They should hope that Mortal Kombat does well. So by the time it gets to them in the summer, people are juiced on these kind of,
especially Street Fighter
adaptions, and honestly, they are storied, historic IPs that haven't gotten a great adaptation. All three of them: Mortal Kombat, Masters of the Universe, and Street Fighter. All, some people love them, but generally all kind of crappy, not living up to the height of what people would want from those specific IP. So you're right. They all are in very similar boats, and they all can help each other or hurt each other.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely agree. I think even more Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, because they're tied. Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, they're all kind of tied together in the era of fighting games. Even Soul Calibur. Like if if Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter does good, I can see a Tekken and a Soul Calibur movie being greenlit because
100%.
And then I can see Nintendo going, maybe we should make a Smash Brothers movie. I can see those wheels turning if these movies do well. But if Mortal Kombat comes out and it gets similar reaction to Mortal Kombat 1, then I fear for Street Fighter.
Yeah. Street Fighter's cooked. You got to know what movie you are. Like that is, and that's what I should have said in our Mortal Kombat segment. I guess I'll clip it after this. But I feel like the first one did not know what kind of movie it wanted to be. You had like some comedy in it, but it just came from Kano, the one with the red eye.
Yeah.
But then everything else was trying to be like more serious and more grounded. And it just felt like a mess, and it felt like it didn't know what kind of movie it wanted to be. The sequel for Mortal Kombat feels like it finally knows what it wants to be. It wants to be funny, campy, badass action scenes, fun, on a ride, found family. And that is more in the vein of what you would want from this franchise. And so my hope is that these movies that you're mentioning know what kind of movie that they want to be.
Yeah.
And I forgot to say in the beginning, I'm so happy to be here with you on another episode of the Evan Edition. And every week I look forward to doing this show and doing it with you and our other guests. And I had a great time with Kenny. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
great show.
Thank you for tuning in. And I just love doing this, man. It makes me so happy. So with that down, Zach, what is our next topic, my friend?
We're going to be talking about another adaptation, but this is a new trend that's happening. Kind of not new, but kind of new. A book adaptation, right? There's always been adaptations of books, but I feel like more recently people are more aware when something's being adapted from a book. And in the past, you would find out like 10 years later. Project Hail Mary is a film that, for me personally, off just the first trailer, I wasn't super hyped for. But as we get closer to the film and the first reactions start coming up, the momentum is building. People are talking about Oscar buzz. People are talking about amazing sci-fi. People are talking about this might be the best movie of the year. And the Hollywood Reporter has the first reactions for the people that got to see it early. Phil Lord and Crystal Miller intriguing sci-fi epic Project Hail Mary held his first press screenings this week, and the early reactions on social media seems overwhelmingly positive, with many suggesting a genre classic may be incoming. While official full critic reviews for Project Hail Mary are embargoed till closer to the film's release, Amazon and MGM Studios allowed a press release to do social media reactions. Starring Ryan Gosling, one of my favorite actors, the film is based on an Andy Weir hard science fiction bestseller. Weir is also behind the equally ambitious, hugely successful The Martian, which was adapted into a film by Ridley Scott, which was super successful, starring Matt Damon.
Really good. All-star cast. All-star cast.
Yeah. Project Hail Mary centers on the astronaut Rylan Race. That's funny. His name is very similar to the star. Yeah. Who awakens on a spacecraft with amnesia. Grace quickly works out he's on a mission to save Earth, and he must engage to help another life form he names Rocky to complete his work. The cast also includes Sandra Hüller, Lionel Bose, Ken Leung, and Milana Van Trump. Isn't that the AT&T girl? Nice.
Yes.
The Hollywood revealed that It is, right? Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
happy to see her in something.
What a big big one for her.
That's a big get for her.
Fantastic. Big time.
The Hollywood Reporter revealed that Rocky will be played by theater artist James Ortiz. Not familiar with him, but that's a big get for him.
Yep.
Project Hail Mary is released on March 20th. The trailer for the film release was on the Super Bowl, that was huge. That means they have full confidence in this movie.
Oh yeah,
they did it during the Super Bowl. Let's go through some of these first reactions.
Let's do it. I got it up for you. Let me actually zoom in here a little bit.
Yep. So everybody can see it.
Is that good?
Yep, that's good. I have it up here too. Okay. Matt Nagalia, who's somebody who I follow on Letterboxd and on Twitter, so I'm familiar with him.
He's good. He's a movie.
He's really good.
He's a big movie head. Yep.
Let me see. I just realized this is not showing the whole tweet.
You can read it here. I can open it for you. You can read it on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. No, let's just read it's a long one. Let's just read the
blurb.
Yeah. We're gonna go through a bunch.
Got you. Project Hail Mary feels in many ways like a miracle of a movie. It combines technical awe of gravity, the problem-solving exhilaration and humor of The Martian, and sweeping emotion of Interstellar. Holy crap. Into one film with its own unique style and charm. Holy crap. What an endorsement.
Jorge. Oh, you want to go every other one? I'll go with you.
Yeah, you can do this one.
All right. Jorge R. Gutierrez says, what Phil Lord and Chris Miller have done with Project Hail Mary is nothing short of miraculous, epic, sprawling, hilarious, visionary, soulful, heartfelt, timely, hopeful, gorgeous, and did I mention epic? What a joy to witness this advertisement. And I can't click out because we are zoomed in.
I didn't know that came up. Oh my God, Hollywood
Yeah,
Reporter.
what? Right when I'm reading? Oh my goodness. That is hilarious. How do I get rid of this?
I don't see an X button. What the hell?
No, they're trying to X go and give it to me.
There we go.
All right. Let's keep going. Oh, Scott Gimple. Is that the showrunner for? All right. You got this one?
Yeah, this one is Ben David Grabinski. Project Hail Mary is perfect and my favorite work from Greg Fraser. Oh, Greg Fraser shooting this? Nice. Has done. He's already the best guy doing it. Holy crap. Perfect? Oh, man.
Eric Cohn says Project Hail Mary is a faithful adaptation of the book and as such incredibly charming and imaginative. More than that, it Weir's uncanny ability to transform hard science into palatable mass market. You mother. Why are you doing this to me?
Gotta get the ad block, man.
Excited to spend the next year debating astrobiology. All right, next one. Keep going. We got to go fast. They're going to get
Phil Poser, Jose Mari. Hail Mary, full of grace. I couldn't have hoped for a better adaptation of Project Hail Mary. A brilliant blend of light, sound, and color. A perfect cinematic experience and maybe one of the best movies of the decade so far. Amaze. Wow.
Project Hail Mary is my fave standalone book of all time. This movie needed to be perfect. I'm giddy to say this movie faithfully and brilliantly adapts the book. I loved everything about it. Gosling is so perfect as Ryland Grace. I laughed, cried the whole time.
Wow. Scott M.
Oh, it is. This is the showrunner of The Walking Dead.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's dope. Let's see. You just did Mod. Scott Gimple.
You're new Scott, right?
Yeah, I'm doing Scott. I've known Phil Lord and Chris Miller for a very long time. I've been able to watch their careers from the very beginning. These gents have become giants, retaining their unique, humanistic, hilarious voice all the way. Project Hail Mary is terrific. Go see this picture.
Joey Magidson says Project Hail Mary is a stunning achievement. Ryan Gosling is a perfect everyman hero, and Rocky is a practical effects wonder, standing tall with E.T. among alien friends. Loved it so much. Andy Weir adaptations make amazing films.
Wow. David Gonzalez says Project Hail Mary is pure sci-fi nirvana, the epitome of IMAX experience. Lord and Mira craft a story that feels both grand and intimate, leaving me completely enthralled. It transforms the loneliness of space to something profoundly human, grounding it in spectacle.
God. Dan Girolamo. I was shocked with how much I cared about an alien in Project Hail Mary.
Mm.
Surprisingly emotional. It's more buddy comedy than. All right, I'm done with you, bro. We're oh my goodness. But as you can see, this bad boy is beloved across the board. It comes out in 2 weeks. We are hot on the heels of amazing first reactions. Based on the first reactions, based on what you've heard about the book, the adaptation, whoever's involved in it, how are you feeling about Project Hail Mary, Zach?
I am super excited now. My hype level was at like a 5 out of 100 because even though I like Ryan Gosling, but yeah, I wasn't. The trailer just wasn't doing it for me. It just seemed like that whole like.
You're right. It wasn't.
Person meets alien. Yeah, but everything here, but based on the people who are fans of the book and how hyped they're saying how the book is fantastic, even though I never heard of it, and all these people who saw it that say it's perfect, it's an achievement. I'm glad that people talked about the alien because I was worried about the alien was just going to be boring. And even saying that is great, and then Ryan Gosling is the perfect everyman hero. That's like a perfect role for him. I'm super duper excited.
Man who's a scientist, this model mother, has the looks and the brains, like this lucky guy.
Not and fair.
Mendez.
Yes. Perfect.
Something that stood out to me that I've seen from a lot of people in a lot of interviews is they say the practical effects of Rocky are masterful, that it looks CGI in a good way because of what they're able to do with the puppetry of the character Rocky, which kind of gives you that authenticity that you can actually feel that this character is real and be there in the moment, and it doesn't take you out like some CGI characters do. And that gives you more faith because what rests on this movie is the relationship between Ryan Gosling's character and Rocky. And based on what they're saying, it seems like they succeed with flying colors.
Yeah, because like I said, it's hard science. So in order for people, especially general audience that don't really care for sci-fi picks, you have to have that core relationship that they can latch onto that grounds everything. So even when they start explaining stuff that we have no idea about, once you have that relationship between those two, which is going to be humorous, they're gonna enjoy it and just let that other stuff go over their head. And they compared it to a lot of things like Interstellar. I think Interstellar is one of those hard science movies that work because it's one of the few Christopher Nolan films that has a lot of heart. I think Matthew McConaughey brought so much to that role that I think Ryan Gosling is gonna bring here. And even the comparison to like Gravity and things like that, the spectacle of it all and caring about what happens to Sandra Bullock's character. I think if they do things like that, I think this movie might be the masterpiece that they're bragging about.
Yeah, no, I think this, based on what we're hearing, this is probably the first Best Picture nomination we're seeing from the year.
Yeah.
And it kind of sets the tone for this amazing 2026 of genre movies that we're going to get. I mean, right now, potentially we're looking at least 4 or 5 genre Best Picture noms for 2027. We're looking at The Odyssey, Dune Part 3,
definitely,
and that's
Project
it. No, and Project Hail Mary, and then we're looking at a few that could have potential, but it's still early on. So that's a lot of genre movies though for the Oscars. Let's keep in mind, like these guys don't give a lot of love to genre movies unless it's like been a couple years. They don't do it like in a row. You know what I mean? Like after Return of the King won 11 Oscars, it wasn't like the next year it was like King Kong, or something, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like the next one was up. So I feel like this is the tone setter for the rest of the 2026 slate for what could be Best Picture, and what a great way to use this film to set that tone. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, man. 3 huge movies coming out within the similar fantasy sci-fi aspect that can definitely get Oscar buzz. And I think the last 2-3 years have been heavily focused when it comes to like Oscar nominations, having one genre film and then having a bunch of dramas that are typical like Oscar fodder. I'm not saying they're bad movies, but I would like a little bit more diversity in that way. If we have great popular movies, they deserve to be nominated. And I'm hoping this one is as good as it says. And if it can get Ryan Gosling a Best Actor nomination, I will be so happy, because he's one of those actors that I feel is one of the best on the planet, but continuously just goes underrated all the time.
Yeah, but he did win for Best Song. I'm just Ken.
I love that song.
He won. Werewolf may have some potential as another genre one. So and now that it's coming out, I'm hearing The Bride is fantastic.
I heard that too.
Also be another potential Oscar nomination for Best Picture. So there is a lot that is coming out, and this is the first in a series of genre movies that we're gonna get. Actually, I guess The Bride will be, but that was
Jessie Buckley getting nominated again would be insane.
Yeah, by the time it comes out, she will be Oscar winner Jessie Buckley.
Yep.
And I have a little hope for I Love Boosters. Maybe. Just maybe.
Oh yeah.
Just maybe.
Yeah, me too.
We talked a lot of good ones in our 2026 what we were looking forward to. So now they're all coming back to us. But let us know what you guys think. Do you think that Project Hail Mary could be Best Picture? Are you excited for the movie? What do you think about these first reactions being glowingly incredible? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, I want to get into this. Whew. I don't want to get into this, actually, but we have to, because Paramount is set to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, and Netflix has now officially backed out of the deal. And we got a lot to discuss, because this has honestly been a saga that Zach and I have been following very closely, that has had a lot of weird left turns that has left us with a pretty bad taste in our mouth. We are going to break down how we got to this place, some key points of what's going on currently, and maybe some positives of what we could get from
I have one.
Paramount. Save it for the positives. I like that you have one. I don't know if I have any, but we'll see if they come to mind. Let's break this bad boy down and go over this together with hopefully no weird pop-ups while I'm talking. All right, so where we're at right now, okay? This comes to us from LA Times. They broke it down and gave us a little history of how we got to here. But first, let's break down just a little bullet points that they give us in the beginning. Paramount Skydance beat Netflix in the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery in a deal valued at more than $111 billion to claim HBO, CNN, and Warner Brothers Film Studios. Billionaire Larry Ellison helped lift his son's deal with his vast wealth and ties to Trump and Republicans, exploiting regulatory uncertainties surrounding Netflix. Netflix concluded Warner Brothers wasn't a must-have after it became clear its deal faced significant regulatory hurdles, and it collected its $2.8 billion termination fee and walked away. This comes to us from LA Times. They say the morning after Netflix clinched its deal to buy Warner Brothers, Paramount Skydance chairman David Ellison assembled a war room of trusted advisors, including his billionaire daddy, Larry Ellison. Furious at Warner Brothers Discovery chief, David Zaslow, for ending the auction, the Ellisons and their team began plotting their comeback on that crisp December day to rattle Warner Brothers Discovery and its investors. They launched a 3-front campaign: a lawsuit, a hostile takeover bid, and direct lobbying of the Trump administration and Republicans in the Congress. There was a master battle plan, and it was extremely disciplined, said one auction insider who was not authorized to comment publicly. Netflix stunned the industry late Thursday by pulling out of the bidding, clearing the way for Paramount to claim the company that owns HBO, HBO Max, CNN, TBS, the Food Network, and the Warner Brothers film and television studios in Burbank. And as we stated, it was for a $111 billion. The streaming giant's reversal came just hours after co-chief executive Ted Sarandos met with I like how they put that. Attorney General Pam Bondi and a deputy at the White House. It was a cordial session, but the Trump officials told Sarandos that his deal was facing significant hurdles in Washington, according to a person close to the administration who was not authorized to comment publicly. So even before that meeting, the tide had turned for Paramount in a swell of power politics and brinkmanship. Netflix played their cards well. However, Paramount played their cards perfectly, said Jonathan Miller, chief executive of Integrated Media. They did exactly what they had to do and when they had to do it, which was at the very last moment. And key to the victory was Daddy Ellison's $200 billion fortune and his connections to President Trump and congressional Republicans. Paramount also hired Trump's former antitrust chief, attorney Macon Delrahim, to quarterback the firm's legal and regulatory action. Republicans during a Senate hearing this month piled onto Sarandos with complaints about potential monopolistic practices and woke programming. Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. David Ellison skipped that hearing. This week, however, he attended Trump's State of the Union address in the Capitol chambers and a guest of Senator Lindsey Graham. The two men pose, grinning and giving a thumbs up for a photo that was posted to Graham's X account. On Friday, Netflix said it had received a $2.8 billion payment, a termination fee Paramount agreed to pay to send Netflix packing its bags. Long before David Ellison and his family acquired Paramount and CBS last summer, the 43-year-old tech scion and aircraft pilot already had his sights set on Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount's assets included MTV, Nickelodeon, and the Melrose Avenue movie studio. Ellison recognized he needed the more robust company of WBD to achieve his ambitions. From the very beginning, our pursuit of Warner Brothers Discovery has been guided by a clear purpose: to honor the legacy of two iconic companies, I hope so, while accelerating our vision of building a next-gen media and entertainment company. Dave Ellison said in a statement on Friday, "We couldn't be more excited for what's ahead." Warner's chief, Zaslav, who had initially opposed the Paramount bid, added, "We look forward to working with Paramount to complete this historic transaction." Netflix, in a separate statement, said it was unwilling to go beyond its $82.7 billion proposal that Warner board members accepted on December 4th. Sarandos said, "We believe we would have been strong stewards of Warner Brothers' iconic brands, and that our deal would have strengthened the entertainment industry and preserved and created more production jobs. But this transaction was always a nice to have at the right price, not a must to have at any price," the Netflix chief added. Netflix may have miscalculated the Ellison's family's determination when it agreed February 16th to allow Paramount back into the bidding. Idiots! The Los Gatos, California-based company already prevailed in the auction and had an agreement in hand. Its next step was a shareholder vote. They didn't need to let Paramount back in, but there was a lot of pressure on them to make sure the process wouldn't be challenged, Miller said. In addition, Netflix's stock had also pummeled, and the company had lost a quarter of its value since investors learned the company was making a Warner run. Upon news Netflix had withdrawn, its shares soared Friday nearly 14% to $96.24 a share. Invited back into the auction room, Paramount unveiled a much stronger proposal than the one it submitted December. The elder Ellison pledged to personally guarantee the deal, including $45.7 billion in equity required to close the transaction. And if bankers became worried that Paramount was too leveraged, the tech mogul agreed to put in more money in order to secure the banking financing. The promise was assuaged Warner Brothers Discovery board members who had fretted for weeks that they weren't sure Ellison would sign on the dotted line. Paramount's pressure campaign had been relentless, first winning over theater owners who expressed alarm over Netflix's model that encouraged consumers to watch their movies at home. During the last 2 weeks, Sarandos got dragged into two ugly controversies. First, famed filmmaker James Cameron endorsed Paramount, saying a Netflix takeover would lead to massive job losses in the entertainment industry. Then, a week ago, Trumpy took aim at Netflix board member Susan Rice, a former high-level Obama and Biden administration official. In a social media post, Trump called Rice a no-talent political hack. I'm not going to do that shit. And said that Netflix must fire her or pay the consequences. The threat underscored the dicey environment for Netflix. Additionally, Paramount had sowed doubts about Netflix among lawmakers, regulators, Warner investors, and ultimately the Warner board. Wow. This month, a deadline for the Justice Department to raise issues with Paramount's proposed Warner takeover passed without comment from the Trump regulators. Big surprise. Analysts believe the deal is likely to close, while Paramount WBD does present material antitrust risks, such as higher pay TV prices, lower pay for TV and movie workers. Analysts also see a key pro-competitive effect: improved competition in streaming, with Paramount Plus and HBO Max representing a materially larger or stronger counterweight to number one Netflix. Jesus. In the final days, David Ellison led an effort to flip Warner board members who had firmly supported Netflix. With Paramount's improved offer, several began leaning toward the Paramount deal. On Tuesday, Warner announced that Paramount's deal was promising. On Thursday, Warner's board determined Paramount's deal had topped Netflix, and that's when Netflix surrendered. Paramount had a fulsome 360-degree approach. They approached it financially. They understood the regulatory environment here and abroad in the EU, and they had a game plan for every aspect. Ay, 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 cabrón. So, my friend, that is the saga of the Warner Brothers WBD merger. It is not a done deal yet.
No.
But I don't see anyone challenging or even being able to come close to this deal now that we are here in the end game, if you will. How do you feel about where the cards lie?
This is all about control. That's all it is. It's about control of media. A lot of people have been talking about like quality of movies and what's going to happen to the legacy of Warner Brothers, but I think there's something bigger going on here. What's up, Kenny? I think there's something bigger here. I'm talking about like how this is going to
zoom in right now. was it really far out?
Oh, yeah, man. But no worries. Okay. And I saw this post and I just want to read off it. It says, one family is
Yes,
about to
please.
control CBS, CNN, HBO, and TikTok. They'll buy Warner Brothers for $24 billion in money from Saudi, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. And to win over Trump, they canceled Colbert, blocked a segment from CCOT, and blocked a James Tallarico interview. America has
That was a
now
great interview, by the
state-compromised
way.
media. Huh?
That was a great interview. My wife and I watched it. It was
Yeah, it's
fantastic about a
bad.
politician that believes there should be a separation between church and state. Who would have thought? Someone
Who
who's
would have
very
thought?
religious. Someone who's very religious, but he broke it down in a way that makes sense to the general audience. That's something we can all agree on. And you wanted to block that from being seen on CBS.
Yep.
That is a very slippery slope. And what could be the consequences of that, my friend?
Just us not having these different point of views. Having one kind of point of view across CNN, CBS. We already have it on Fox. Them just dominating. And TikTok was a source of news where anybody can get their information out. Now they're having a US version. They can kind of dilute that and change that. A lot of information that was going on about Gaza came from TikTok. People being on the ground, recording what was happening. That's why we found out what was going on. Usually that's something we wouldn't know about until 10 years later, but we were getting real-time information about it. That won't happen anymore with that. Same thing with Twitter's already compromised, right? Like X is compromised because of who owns that. So we're seeing our media, the big mainstream ones, being compromised to be lean, more conservative, and more propaganda based. Because there's nothing wrong with being conservative at a basis level, but when you're putting the propaganda into it, that's where I think it's going to be a big problem for not only us. So like when we say certain things, it's going to feel like we have no backing because mainstream media is not talking about it, but also the youth looking towards a TikTok and not having all that stuff in there, right? And then you go down further than that to the less important stuff, like the quality of what's going on with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers film and television divisions have done diverse stories. They're given opportunities to people who look different, who act different from what other, studios would give, and they take a lot of risk. Even just you think about last year with their slate that they have, that they won with, a one battle after another. They're giving an auteur filmmaker who's never made a single dime making movies, $120 million to make a movie that might win Best Picture. Giving Ryan Coogler Sinners opportunity, giving him all that money to make a vampire flick, and also give him the rights to it back in 10 years is amazing. You think about Weapons, you think about Reboot, Final Destination, and all these different things that team has done. That might end because once Paramount owns it, they might see you guys are a redundancy. We're going to keep our guys and we're going to fire you. And that's the main thing. People are worried about job loss with Netflix. There's going to be a huge job loss once Paramount buys Warner Brothers because they're going to have so many people who do the same thing. They have Nickelodeon heads. They also have Cartoon Network heads. Yeah. They're not going to need the Cartoon Network heads if they have the Nickelodeon heads. Those guys are gone. Think 100%. About CBS or CNN versus CBS. They're going to get rid of a lot of the CNN guys. So it's going to be immense job loss, less creativity, and a controlled media that's going to be pushing something that's not healthy for everybody.
Yeah, and I want to speak to our audience, the movie fans, because you best believe this is going to affect the movies that we see. David Ellison is saying that they're committed to 30 movies a year. However, because of the price tag that it costs to pay for Warner Brothers Discovery, that might not be possible. I also want to talk a little bit about Cinema United and how they feel about this. So although Paramount has established a background in theatrical distribution, Cinema United is worried about that outcome as well, which they explained in a statement to the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee hearing in early February. They noted that a combination of Paramount and Warner Brothers would consolidate as much as 40% of each year's domestic box office into a single studio. The CEO, Michael O'Leary, said in a statement, "We have been clear from the outset about our concerns around consolidation, and nothing has occurred within the past 36 hours has changed that. Studio consolidation historically leads to fewer movies being made. And at this juncture, there is no reason to believe that the outcome here will be any different. They are urging regulators to heed the lessons of the past. So, in theory, a guaranteed 30 films a year would be a good thing for movie theaters, assuming that they are all shown on the big screen and it's not a combination of theatrical and streaming titles, as has happened with a Disney-owned 20th Century Studios. But some are skeptical that that will pan out. Hollywood historian and author Mark Harris wrote that the idea of a Paramount WB merger producing 30 to 40 movies a year is an absurd fiction. He predicted that the first Warner Brothers, that first Warner Brothers would become the classy label within Paramount. Then it will become the specialty or streaming label, and then it will die. Actor Jane Fonda had previously said that regardless of who acquired the company, a consolidation at this scale would be catastrophic for any industry built on free expression. So not only is it going to be impossible for them to put out that much content, but also the type of content that we are going to see is going to be less and less about representation and more about what is deemed what they want to put out. So goodbye to Sinners. Goodbye to Ryan Coogler getting to own his property outright in 20 years. That will be the last of that kind of deal that people of marginalized populations will ever get again. And
anybody, honestly, because even people who aren't marginalized wasn't getting those deals.
But because that was such a historic thing, now it's even sadder because that will be the last time that ever happens. And that is very, very sad because of how far we were getting to even have a deal like Ryan Coogler had. And now that's gone in an instant like that.
I think a good example of what you're talking about.
$111 billion instant.
I think a good example of what you're talking about in terms of like the 30 movie thing and it's just Disney owning Fox. If you think about what happened to Star Wars, once they bought Fox, there hasn't been a Star Wars movie in so long, right? It's just been straight streaming TV shows, right? And then you think about that's just their brand. You think about Alien. They took Alien out of theaters and made it a TV show. And they took Terminator out of theaters and made it a Netflix animated show. They're taking these things that are historically usually in theaters. I know all the Terminators are not great, but it's still historically a theatrical release. Even all the Aliens and Predator stuff is not great. But even like Predator, they put Prey on Hulu. You know what I mean? Which that should have been in theaters. So you're right. A lot of the stuff are going to the streaming services now to lift up the streaming service, and these brands are now becoming streaming brands instead of theatrical brands.
Before I get into Kenny's comment, I just want to say I never thought I would live in a world where I wanted Netflix to buy Warner Brothers over Paramount. I like months and months and months ago, I preached on this show that it would be detrimental to the film and TV industry if that were to happen, film especially. And now I have the same sentiments about Paramount because of who owns it, and it's very scary. And what's
even a little worse, right? Because I have to give Netflix credit for the fact that the owner is not bending to the government, right? He's having these conversations.
He's standing pat.
He's standing pat. He's not trying to like, oh, you put a little bit of money in my pocket, I'll start doing all these things. He wasn't bending to that. That's why they backed away, and it was so hard when they were told, hey, there's going to be some regulatory issues for you. That's just them saying, hey, if you don't do what we want, we're going to make this hard for you. And that's why they backed out. They're like, well, we're not gonna compromise ourselves that way. So I respect the Netflix CEO and team on that side of things.
Yeah, no, man, I'm so sad.
I never thought I'd say
do you,
that.
what do you think about Kenny saying that he wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to renege on the deal that Warner Brothers made with Ryan Coogler and the property Sinners?
If there's any holes in that contract that allows them to do that, they will find it. If there's anything in there that says if you don't do this or you do that or whatever in it, they will definitely do it. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be lawsuits. Okay. It's going to be they'll probably lose it, but they'll look for it.
Let's take a look at some of the properties that they will now own. So now Paramount will own DC Studios, Harry Potter, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, Mission Impossible, The Big Bang Theory, which is a huge moneymaker for them.
Huge.
I don't know why, because I'm not a fan. Star Trek, The Matrix, which we just found out Matrix 5 is being written. I hope it's not like 4. Dune, Top Gun, The Last of Us, The Lord of the Rings, Mad Max, Scream, which is killed after this movie came out, SpongeBob SquarePants, of course, Godzilla and Kong, The Conjuring universe, which is a huge moneymaker, Mortal Kombat, It, which had a hit series on HBO, Rick and Morty, Scooby-Doo, Indiana Jones, Sonic, The Exorcist, and that's just to name a few.
Yeah, that's not even everything.
Now that we're looking at it this way from, the franchises that we love, I want to ask you about our boy, Mr. Gunn, who is a notorious hater of Trump and everything that he stands for. This deal will not be concluded for at least a year. I could see James Gunn going to David Zaslav and saying, I want out of my deal. I don't see them getting rid of him because of his success and his track record, but I do see a possibility that James Gunn goes to Zaslav and says, I can't work for him. I'm sorry. You need to find a way to get me out of here. What do you think the possibilities are of that happening with James Gunn?
Unfortunately, I don't have as much faith in him as you do. I think that what's going to happen is that he's going to put out Supergirl. It's going to do well. I think that Clayface is going to do well. I think Lanterns could be a hit show. And I think that he's going to create so much success and demand, especially with how Superman did well, that they are not going to be able to fire him and just have to deal with him being a mouthy. And I think he's going to do what he does and continue. I think what will happen is if he messes up in any way in terms of he can't do what Kevin Feige's going through right now. Kevin Feige's having multiple movies in a row, just not doing well. I think James Gunn won't have that opportunity to do that. So he's going to have to keep producing hits. And I think once he starts slipping up in like a momentum way, then we can see him I quit, because he's not going to want to have to fight with them. But I don't think he's going to quit this dream job of his because he has new owners. And I don't want him to, because DC has too many people who have switched ownership over it, and that's why we've had this mess.
Yeah, the franchise deserves better for sure, but he has been an outspoken hates Trump and the administration, everything they stand for. Dream job, selling your soul. We've seen it happen before in Hollywood. I would hope that he would rest on his morals a little bit more and stand his ground. But you're right. We could see that he bites his tongue and continues if the franchise is being on a successful run. However, I do see a possibility, and I did hear this from our boy John Campia, who said that he could see him, once it's a done deal, going to Zaslav and saying, I'm out of here. Please get me out of my contract. And of course, he will have a plethora of job offers after. You best believe
Look what Kenny said. I find that really funny.
I know. I'm gonna post that in a second. You best believe that James Gunn, if he is to leave DC Studios, will have a ton of offers. What I could see happen is that he leaves DC Studios, he goes back to Marvel, and he becomes the heir apparent of Feige. So when Feige steps down, the next 15, 20 years, James Gunn is now in that role. So he still has his dream job. He still is back in the family where he started his big career. And he's in a less, aggressive ownership than I would say Paramount.
And that was what it was supposed to happen in the first place, like Kevin Feige was queuing him up to take over.
Yes, it goes back to what the plan was originally. Or what he could do is James Gunn is going to be heading the Valiant cinematic universe by 2028.
He would kill that. He would do so good. Those are the type of characters that he loves, right? And
he does love those type of characters.
They're not mainstream, so he can do whatever he wants with them for the most part, and people won't get.
He can make it his.
Yeah, like the Valiant fans will get mad, and there's a lot of them, but there's not enough where I think it will be a problem if he changes things. So that would be amazing. But yeah, if he does leave DC because he just can't handle the political aspect of it, I could definitely see him keep being open arms. Hey,
what we won't get any more of Batman. I got comics this week.
Nice.
Man, Valiant is awesome. I like Valiant a lot. It's a Valiant effort. No, that was what are, now that we've laid out our feelings and possibly James Gunn's feelings and how detrimental this could be to the overall landscape of Hollywood and movies and theaters as we see it, is there any positives that you could take away from a Paramount purchasing Warner Brothers?
So I have two. One is very selfish. One is an actual true possibility. So the selfish one is that I'm a physical media collector, as you can see.
You are? I didn't know that. No.
Who knew? Netflix doesn't really believe in physical media. And Warner Brothers is one of the more prolific people who put out physical media for their movies. So the negative for me for Netflix for owning them was them kind of like just cutting that production out, right? Or making it more boutique or whatever, just making it harder to get films from Warner Brothers.
Right. Because they are actually one of the few that has a physical media
production place.
Yes, I can't think of the name. It's a you know what I'm saying though. They have
I know what you're talking about.
A faction or like a they have a carved out department, right? Yeah.
To actually do it. That's all they do is make physical media.
And that is dying, but it's beautiful that Warner Brothers still has that.
Yeah, and Paramount also has it. So Paramount still believes in physical media as well. So that's like the only positive directly from them that I have is the fact that Paramount they will keep that. And if they can combine it, look, physical media ownership is dying, but it's still $1 billion industry every year. So they're not going to just throw that away. So that definitely is a positive, them owning Warner Brothers. That will stay intact. And it might actually be better because Paramount's physical media is really dope. So that could be cool. The second positive I have is actually this failing, right? I think the positive there's a possibility that this might not go through, right? And I think the positive aspect of that is that if it does not go through, the money that Warner Brothers will get from it falling apart will get them out of debt.
And they stay, and they just stay?
And they just stay, because if they're out of debt, the reason why Zazos wants to get rid of Warner Brothers is because he bought it, and the people who owned it before didn't reveal how much debt they were in. They lied.
Right.
So
but
he's been
he
trying
also
to get them out of this
in to sell it. That was his main mission, was to come in, make it to be able to be sold to the highest bidder. That was his job when he came in to Warner Brothers a couple years ago. And he fulfilled his job. He had one of the biggest years of Warner Brothers of the past decade.
Yeah.
And primed them to be a hot commodity for bidding war between two of the biggest studios in the game currently. So he did his job.
Did it. But that leak audio of him saying, hey, this is probably not going to go through. We'll get that something $1 billion and we'll clear our debt and we'll just move on and keep doing things as usual. And I think that's a big possibility. I think so many different organizations are going to be lobbying to the regulators about how this should not happen. It's going to be a monopoly, how it's going to hurt America's media landscape. And I think there's a possibility that it might take a year and a half, maybe 2 years because of how much fight it might be in there. And I think that it might just fall through. And then Warner Brothers just continues to be his own entity. And I'm hoping that happens. I hope that another studio doesn't buy Warner Brothers. If someone else takes it off of Zaslav, that's not a studio, fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't want another studio to own Warner Brothers.
No, particularly not. No, I don't want them. But would it be badass Star Trek versus Transformers? No.
But doesn't Paramount own both of those? They can still do that.
I don't want Pennywise being like, set your phasers to stun. That'd be crazy.
Oh God.
Oh man. Well, you guys, we are getting towards the end of the bidding war saga, and it seems like Paramount will be shaking Warner Brothers' hands in a successful buyout of Warner Brothers. Let us know what you guys think. This is hurting my heart to even say it out loud. I don't even know where my head's at. Drop a comment below. Are you sad? Are you happy? Is there any positives? Is there any negatives? Share your thoughts. We are here for you. We are mourning together, and we'll be there for you. Never mind. Paramount owns Friends now.
Yep.
All right, guys. With that down, maybe have some good news. Potentially. Let's get into this next topic. So there was an idea to take a group of villains and make them anti-heroes and have successful movies without their star superhero. And did that work? No, it did not work. It was terrible. It was a terrible idea to take these villains, try to make them anti-heroes, not include Spider-Man, and hope for the best. And unfortunately, they got... Am I boring you, Zach?
No, you always do that.
And unfortunately, Sony got rose-colored glasses because Venom made $1 billion, and they were like, oh my God, this could work. Let's get Morbius out there. Let's get Madam Web. Let's get Kraven. And did it succeed, Zach? No, it came crashing down. And as we reported months ago, they were canceling the live-action Spider-Verse villain universe or whatever. They don't even know what to call it. And we were happy. We were happy. Yeah. We were happy because they didn't work, unfortunately. And it's not like we didn't want them to succeed. Yeah. I would love a badass Kraven movie in the vein of The Hunted, which is a great movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. I love that movie as a kid. They could have done so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
It's not the idea that's bad. It's the execution that's terrible.
It's the execution. And so the question is, can they make the execution better? Well, that might be the case. This comes to us from Nerdist. They say, can you have a successful Spider-Man movie franchise without Spider-Man? No, you can't. Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter were not exactly the hits that they had hoped. They weren't tough at bats. Reviews were just as bad as ticket sales. But while Sony's live action Spider-Man franchise ultimately failed, the studio is not giving up on it just yet. It has plans to eventually reboot it with all new people. Thank God. I wish it was new writers and directors, hopefully too. During a guest appearance on the Town podcast, Tom Rothman, Sony Pictures chairman and CEO, offered an update on the future of Sony's live action Spider-Man films. Rothman said, the human, not live action, the human Spider-Verse is not dead. Did he know humans voice the characters in the Spider-Verse? I guess not. He also said an ambiguous yes twice when Bellani, the host of the Town podcast, asked if the studio will go back to those movies and if the next films will be a fresh reboot. Rothman said yes again. When also directly asked if that reboot will mean new people, he said yes again and yes. And as for the future of a live action Spider-Verse, this seems like confirmation for something that felt like a guaranteed already. This is way too popular of an IP for Sony to just give up on entirely. But the most obvious issue with the first version can't be ignored if the studio hopes for the rebooted version to work. Venom was famous and beloved enough on his own to carry an entire movie or three. Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter were not. They needed a Spider-Man. It didn't and doesn't have to be Peter Parker either. A live-action Miles Morales, a Gwen Stacy, a Spider-Punk, a Spider-Noir could have been the webbed glue to hold these live-action Spider-Verses together, but that didn't seem like the road Tom Rothman wanted to go down. So these should get rebooted. They deserve a reboot, and they deserve a fresh take on what could be a glorious Spider-Verse. But you need something to hold this together. You need a Spider-Man. And it doesn't have to be Tom Holland's. It doesn't have to be Andrews. It doesn't have to be Tobey's from the Bay. It doesn't have to be Nicholas Kajay. It could be Miles Morales. It could be a Spider-Gwen. It could be anything. But you didn't do that. And so now that we're getting a reboot eventually, you know they're working on it. Zach, I want to ask you, what do you hope for in a rebooted live action Spider-Verse, if you will?
I wish it wasn't live action. I think that it would be great if this was animated because they seem to do a good job with animated products. Obviously, Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse are fantastic. They're working on an animated Venom film, and I think with animation, you can just do so much more with the characters that you can't do in live action that will allow them to do stuff without having Spider-Man in it directly and create world building and connections without having to pay live actors to just be in the room together. It's just a lot cheaper to have Kraven, Madam Web, Venom, and Morbius in the same movie if it's animated. If it's live action, you got to pay each of those guys $10 million, and now the movie's too expensive. So I wish they would just do an animated version of this because it shows that the Spider-Verse movies are doing really good. Just pluck one of those Spider-Mans from those movies and do a crossover and have them face the Sinister Six and then have those characters spin off and do their own movies. I think that would be the best. But if they're gonna go with live action, I think Chris Lord and I forgot what the other guy, Philip Miller. I'm forgetting his name.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Thank you. I think there was a rumor that they were going to take over this universe, and I think it would be a good idea to give them another shot where they start from scratch, and do that. Just have them cast, create a timeline of what's going on, Why are we doing each movie? Like it seemed like what was going on with the DCEU, where they were just telling people to do projects and not knowing what the timeline was, because they wrote
Right.
Madam Web, and then it was supposed to connect to, I think, Tom Holland Spider-Man, but then they realized the year that they picked for Peter Parker to be born doesn't match with how old Tom Holland was, and then they were like, okay, let's switch to Toby, but then they said it didn't make any sense either. It's like, that's something that you pre-plan throughout so you don't run into those problems and then make a movie, which I love. I love Madam Web because it's so stupid. It makes me laugh. But that's something that you could avoid.
Morbius randomly having Vulture from Tom Holland's universe in it for some odd reason.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head. If you're going to reboot this live action Sony universe, please, for the love of us, the fans, have a plan. Plan this out. Have it a 5 to 10 year plan with team up movies in the middle. And you could even build a mini Avengers within the Spider universe. You could build a team that goes against a sinister group of villains, if you will, and make it badass. But you need to have a plan and you need to make it make sense. And what you did with the terrible Spider-Verse live action before, it was so disjointed that it completely took people out of the movie, made no sense, and made no one hungry for the next movie coming out. And you just turned off an entire audience because you had no plan.
Spider-Man.
Come on, Zach, bro.
Oh,
but yes, also because I know it's a Spider-Man. But you know, I would say a couple of things. And one, I think having someone like a Phil Lord and Chris Miller, or anyone that is able to shepherd these movies, keep them connected, but also give the reins to different creatives to have a variety of genre of movies within the Spider-Verse is a way where you can make this fresh, exciting, different movie to movie and still have it eventually connect and get people excited to see them all team up once they finally fall in love with these characters. But what you need to do first is just have a good movie.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Have a good movie and people want to see the next one.
Or understand the tone that you're going for each film. Venom had this hokey, comedic, R-rated, weird tone that people really like. A lot of people who don't know about Venom enjoyed it. I remember my boss telling me she loved the Venom movies. And all these movies made money, right? Despite critics hating them or whatever. If they would have figured that out and each movie was just in that kind of tone, then this would have been more successful. But they're all tonally all over the place. Don't even feel like they could fit together if that's what they're trying to go for. You know, They're not doing one-offs. They were building towards something, and it just didn't make any sense.
I do have to push back on your suggestion to make them only animated. For a long time, you know, with superhero genre, we lived in the animated universe for so long because technology wasn't there, proper storytelling wasn't there. It just wasn't where it is now. And so I think to keep it animated, it's going a little backwards because what you're able to do in live action is very different than what you were able to do 25 years ago. And I don't want to go backwards. I would like to push the superhero genre forwards as we've been doing it. And so that's my only hesitation. I feel like it deserves better live action representations of these characters, of Madam Web, of Craven, of Morbius. I still think there's so much you can do in live action that the animation will take you not out of it, but it won't live up to the potential that these movies could have had. And so that's my only hesitation. On top of that, we are getting a Spider-Verse live action movies. We're getting a Spider-Gwen movie. We're getting a Spider-Punk movie. We're getting a Venom movie, as you said. And so I think two things can happen at the same time. You can have a Spider-Verse animated universe, if you will, and you can have a Spider-Verse live action universe, and they can coexist and be really cool. And if they're so good, that live action could cross over, or I'm sorry, that animated could cross over to the live action, a la Tombstone in Spider-Man No Way Home. And that's No Way Home, you know? And so that would be really cool, right? You're like, oh my God, I love that character from Venom. Oh my God, he's coming out in the new Kraven movie, you know, like something like that. So now you're like crossing it over, and now you're like, oh wait, are the animated and this connected? If they're good, you know what I mean? People are going to want to see more crossover. So I think there's potential to use live action and animation simultaneously and really invigorate this Spider-Verse.
I definitely see that.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I definitely see that. I get what you're saying. You definitely want to have that live action representation. And we did live in animated TV shows for so long before we got movies. I do think that it swung too far the other way. I wish we would have a better mixture of live action and animated stuff, because we only have Spider-Man. That's it. And I just feel like since they failed so badly at doing live action on their own, when they combine with Marvel, they do a really great job. That combination works really well. But on their own, it just doesn't work. And I don't even hate all those movies. I didn't hate Kraven. I didn't watch Morbius. And
it's unwatchable, dude.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
They're so
boring. And in terms of like Venom and stuff like that, at least those films are entertaining, even though they're kind of nonsensical. So
right,
I just think they could do a better job and build something a lot bigger.
Oh man. I just saw something. We're gonna talk about the actor awards, the SAG awards, after this episode concludes. We'll just give a breakdown of who has won, but I just saw something with Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah,
that is beautiful. But what do you guys think? Not about the SAG awards, we'll get to that. But do you think that there is potential for a rebooted live action Spider-Verse, that there's a different way to go about these villains and make these movies good and individualistic and really build out a true universe and use Spider-Man, any Spider-Man, as a connective tissue? Drop a comment below and they should let us know their thoughts. I think that'd be good. All right. With that down, Zach, what do you have for us, my friend?
Oh, I don't think you sent me the article.
Oh, I didn't?
No.
Oh, man.
You only sent me the Hail Mary one.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, huh?
It's okay. With that down, let's get into this. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
We got a lot of live action adaptions of video games. Some have been good. Some have been crap. But right now, I think we're in a little bit of a renaissance with, Fallout and Zach, what else? We got anything
Last
else?
of Us, Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. Thank you very much. So it's had an uptick, if you will. And there's been some projects in the works now that we want to see, can it continue that uptick of these video game adaptation TV series? And right now, a hot one is Amazon's God of War. And we reported on the casting. And now we're getting to see a little bit about what this could be. And Zach loves it. But a lot of people share Zach's sentiments because, unfortunately, online, the reaction to this live action picture of our Kratos and our boy is not exactly what fans were hoping for. This comes to us from Screen Rant. They say God of War's divisive first look image has prompted a response from Kratos himself. And it's interesting because it came online. There was a lot of people, taking a look at the position Kratos is in, how young the boy is compared to his counterpart. And they just weren't satisfied because this is a beloved franchise. And with beloved franchises, people have very specific things in their minds. And before we get to Ryan Hurst's comment after he saw the backlash, if you will, let's break it down and take a look at our Kratos first, and then we'll take a look at the other, okay? So this
Sorry.
is...
Putting the pictures together is crazy.
We got to put them together. So, Zach, you clearly have some feelings about this, and you are a lover of the game, are you not?
Specifically, this version that they're adapting. They're adapting the 2018 God of War film. God of War game for the PS4. And it's so good. Like, it's amazing. Amazing story, great character work. So I was really excited to see them, give The Last of Us stream it. HBO did a great job with The Last of Us in terms of look.
Yes.
When I saw Pedro Pascal, I was like, that's Joel. Like, he looks like him,
Yeah.
He even sounds Jamie like him in a lot of parts. Huh?
I wanted Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones. I thought he.
I don't know who that is, but Pedro Pascal.
No, you do. Trust. He's in the Jennifer Gardner series that I was telling you about.
I haven't seen that either. I don't know who that is. Sorry to that man. I don't know who that man. But
no, you know him. He's my dad.
I really like Pedro Pascal as Joel. But this, and I want to give this guy a chance, right? Like, he played, I think, Zeus in the game, in the second game.
You know, Zach?
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I wanted them to capture
what about
the soul,
Kratos?
have someone that looks like
what
Kratos.
This guy.
This guy, I hate to say it, and I hate it. This looks like a porn parody. This doesn't look like an official
porn parody.
It doesn't look official, high budget, $10-15 million show, right? And I gotta say, it might just be a bad first look. It might be a situation where they don't have all the cinematography done. They don't have the VFX done. It might be a situation where the lighting and all that stuff is not done. Because, they add muscles to people, they add abs, they do all that stuff to the characters to make them look better when we're watching it. And it might have been a situation where Prime Video had to put it out because maybe the stockholders like, you have to put something out about this show. Since we announced it, we haven't done anything. We need that. So they just put this picture out. I'm like, okay, satisfied, not realizing the backlash was going to be heavy.
Yeah. There's a few things. So one, Ryan Hurst is a great actor, great voice. I think a great on-screen presence. And I do think he could make a great Kratos, also depending on the writing. Two, this is an awkward position to first show your Kratos, having him hunched over. I understand like the fatherly duty, of him watching his boy learn how to do the bow and arrow and stuff like that, like, and guiding his son. I understand that, but dude looks hunched over, doesn't look sharp, doesn't have the muscle tone. Like, it just isn't there because Kratos is a very brooding, jacked, scary, godlike father. You know what I mean? And this doesn't represent that. No. But I will say that we have seen other video game adaptions where the reaction wasn't as strong, a la Sonic with the first representations, and they went back to the drawing board, they listened to the fans, and they have a huge franchise on their hands because they listen to the fans. So can God of War follow that, listen to the fans, and smooth this out and make it look better? I think they definitely could.
I hope so. I don't want him to lose his job.
But could they make it look too smooth. No,
Yeah,
it's
he's right. He does look too smooth. It doesn't look as gritty as
no,
I
it
think
doesn't
needs
look
to be.
it doesn't look as gritty. The beard doesn't look as thick. It looks like he's still growing it out, trying to get it. This looks like a transition to get to
Yeah,
Kratos form, but he's not quite there yet. This looks
that's
like
perfect.
yeah,
Perfect description. It looks like they took
yes.
this when he was working on trying to look like the character.
Yeah, this is Charmander. This is not Charizard. You know what I'm saying? The evolution needs to step up a little bit so we can get Kratos to Charizard form, and this ain't doing it right now.
Not
So
doing it.
that's how I feel about it. But I want to believe that they could take this feedback and have a better Kratos representation on screen once we get to the series.
Yeah, and I think
Let's
also it's not just how he looks; it's the environment and the lighting and the positioning. Like this picture doesn't tell us anything. They're not showing us what they're looking at. You know what I mean? It doesn't give you any excitement in a way with how it's shown. And yeah, like Kenny said in there, the tattoos are very dull. You know, it's a weird first look.
boring. Yeah, it's boring. And so another another critique on the picture was also Atreus, which is Kratos' son, right?
Yeah.
And these two things do not look like each other. And a lot of people were upset because they were like, this is not my Atreus. This is like a little boy that looks nothing like Atreus. And so when you're looking at both pictures side to side, I can see why it might rub people the wrong way. But we have to keep in mind when you are doing a television series with a young actor, year to year, this person ages like that.
Yeah.
And they want this series, God of War, to be successful and to go on for many years. That is the hope. And the hope is that you start here at a younger Kratos, and every year this guy is going to get older. He's going to probably look more like this picture in a year because of how fast kids grow. So we need to keep in mind that when there is live action adaptions, there is real growth when it comes to children actors year to year. And you got to play it safe, because if this guy was like 14 or 15, he's going to have a huge growth spurt in between. You're going to be like, when did Atreus become Kratos overnight? This does not look like a little boy who needs lessons from his dad anymore. Does that make sense?
I have to say, you have to give kid casting more grace, because video game kids don't look like their age, right? Like Atreides
100%.
looks... Atreides, that's not his name. That's a different franchise. Atreus doesn't look like a 12, 13-year-old, which he's supposed to be. That looks like someone that's about to graduate high school and go to college, right? So you can't cast someone.
He's doing his college essays like yesterday, you know?
Yes. Like that doesn't look like, on the right, that doesn't look like a 12-year-old. So when you cast someone of age appropriate, it's not going to look how it looks in the video game. So I can give that way more grace. He doesn't look terrible. He looks great, honestly. I can give that a lot more grace, because the boy doesn't have super defining features physically other than his hair. That's missing here. I think it's just the hair could be a little bit better, but other than that, I'm down to see what he can do.
And I will say this, this actor is Calum Vinson.
Okay.
This kid is a fantastic actor. I was just referring to The Night Agent season 3. He plays a prominent role in season 3 of The Night Agent on Netflix, and he talks like a 50-year-old adult. He is so mature beyond his years. Like, this kid can act. On top of that, he is a hot commodity right now. Like, people want to work with him. He is going to play a young Jason Voorhees in Crystal Lake TV series. He was on an episode of Poker Face and was fantastic in it. He was also in Long Bright River with Amanda Seyfried, and he was in a little bit of Winnie the Pooh, and he was also in Chucky TV series. So he's been in and will be in high profile projects.
Yeah.
So they didn't choose someone that just looks like the video game. They chose someone that can act. And that is really the top priority when you're casting someone is, can this kid act and be believable in this character? And with Kalen Vincent, they definitely got that right. And so I'm really excited to see him in this role.
Yeah, you got to capture the soul of the character. I know Bella Ramsey is controversial, and she was controversial when she cast as Ellie, but in that season 1 of Last of Us, she was fantastic as Ellie. She captured the soul of that character. She doesn't look anything like the character, but she captured the soul of the character so well, I didn't care. So I think that's what I'm looking for with him, right? Like, does he capture the soul of the boy and hard-headed and whiny and learns on his feet, has this inner rage in him? If he can portray all that, then it won't matter, right? Like, it won't matter that he doesn't look exactly like the character.
If the series is good, none of this.
People will be like, yo, I wish this looked better, but it's so good. I think that's what's going to happen.
I want to ask you this reaction, though, because as we were saying earlier in this segment, as the backlash came out from the first image, so did a comment from the star of the Amazon series. This comes directly from Ryan Hurst's social media, where he said, "Don't believe everything you see on the internet, kids." What do you think Ryan means by this comment?
I don't know. This is the silliest vague post response to Backlash that I've ever seen. This was posted by Prime. It wasn't like a random leak. You know how sometimes people leak stuff? And he could have been, if he said that, then he'd be like, all right, this is not a real picture, right? Because it's leaked. But this is a promo pic. So what is that even supposed to mean?
No, I don't know. I think, you know, what Ryan is saying is that this is not the finished product. Like, this is a concept of what we will look like, a very good concept, because it does look good quality wise. But I think he's saying, like, rest assured, this is not the finished product. We are going to pull a Sonic, and what you will see on screen is not what you're seeing in this picture. Just you wait. You wait. And so that is my hope from Ryan Hurst's comment, that he is letting the audience know, pump your brakes. This is not the finished product. I'm just Charmander right now. Wait till you see Charizard. And that when we see the first actual look or the first teaser trailer or whatever have you, then people will be like, okay, I have a little bit more faith. Yeah. Because this is a diehard franchise, and you best believe they do not want to disappoint, because if you disappoint, you just blew what could have been a great series. And on top of that, you have one of the best showrunners of all time in Ronald D. Moore, Battlestar Galactica, Next Gen, you know, like Outlander, what was I? Oh, For All Mankind. Like, this guy is very good at telling stories. So
he knows what and genre content too. That's another thing.
And genre content. So I would say, have faith in Ronald D. Moore. Have faith that this is not the final product of what we will see as Kratos and Atreus. And let's not hold our breaths, but let's give them a chance to show us what you got, because clearly this isn't it, and there's more to come.
They also have other video game stuff coming too in a similar vein with Horizon, which is one of my Zero Dawn, which is one of my actually my favorite video game. So my worry was always that it was going to look cheap because that game has a lot going on, and it's a similar clothing style to God of War. So if it looks like this, that's going to be a huge problem. So if this show looks like this and it ends up not being the best when they try to promote Horizon, that's going to hurt that franchise. Because I'm like, we saw what you did with God of War. We're not going to trust you with this one.
Yeah, and Horizon has just like a great person behind it with Steve Blackman, who did like Fargo, the TV series, Legion, Altered Carbon, Outsiders with Ryan Hurst, by the way, The Umbrella Academy. This guy, and then back in the day, Private Practice, Las Vegas, Bones. He's been in the game for a long time, and he is a great person to lead that franchise. But we got to crush it with God of War first, because like you said, with these video game adaptions, it could either help or harm the next one up. So this bad boy needs to do well so that the next one can do well. And that's really what I hope we get. So let us know what you guys think. Were you a little displeased with our first look at Atreus and Kratos from God of War on Amazon? Do you have faith that they could pull a Sonic and improve these and make this series worth the IP that it is? Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, we are almost out of here. We got a lot of comments in here. Kenny loves Horizon. He said they're going to hide the Horizon machines in the shadows. LOL. Turn them into cloud monsters.
I hope not. Oh, God.
Akers is in the house. Hello, Akers. Akers said, would Zach run WB and Evan run Paramount? Nah, I don't want Transformers. Give me Paramount. I don't want... I'll switch with Zach.
I'll take Paramount. Shoot, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Star Trek.
Me and Zach will we're gonna merge and we're gonna have 60 movies in theaters.
And no jobs lost.
and more jobs. That's the hope. All right, guys, we're almost out of here. We are almost running out of time. I'm hungry. I want my enchiladas. So before we get out of here, though, let's talk about a rumor. Not a spoiler, but potentially right now it is a rumor. We got Doomsday's coming, as I say, and RDJ is our man in the big bad seat. But are we going to see his face? Because as we know, Dr. Doom is famous for having that mask and really not being seen, but definitely being heard. Well, it seems like we are getting some information of the plan to unmask Doom in Avengers Doomsday coming out this December. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. They say Avengers Doomsday leaks are circulating on social media, and some new insights into what we can expect from Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom may have just been revealed by Murphy's Multiverse's Charles Murphy, not Charlie Murphy, unfortunately. With the Iron Man actor playing Victor Von Doom, many fans are convinced that the two characters will be somehow connected. While Doom is a character whose scarred face is meant to be hidden behind a mask, the Fantastic Four First Steps has already shown the villain removing it in front of young Franklin Richards. Yes, it's been 7 years since Downey last played Tony Stark. Still, even with a horribly scarred visage, the Oscar winner is sure to be recognizable. Along with the casting itself, that's bound to be confusing for regular moviegoers wondering what the deal is with this evil Iron Man. According to Murphy, while Earth 616's heroes won't see Doom's face, the audience will. He said, allowing them to have some critical information that should create some suspense. It sounds like the Russos have used this in a very clever way. He go on to say that Avengers Doomsday will parallel Iron Man's connection to Steve Rogers. Howard Stark was instrumental in his becoming Captain America, while the Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. By initially focusing on Doom and Steve is what the plan will be in Doomsday. As we previously heard, Loki moving Steve to Doom's world, possibly Earth 828, is what leads to its destruction in an incursion, giving him a reason to hate the former Captain America. It's said that this is meant to give fans a sense of familiarity before the rug is pulled out hard from under them. Murphy adds, it sounds as though he is Victor Von Doom from Latveria, not Tony Stark, but there's still Secret Wars left for them to explain it, all because no explanation is given in Doomsday. He also suggested, as of now, Monica Rambeau and Doctor Strange are both absent from Doomsday, a surprise given the former's arrival in X-Men's universe at the end of the Marvels. While we suggest taking this with a pinch of salt, the following leak has also made its rounds. Are you ready for this?
Oh boy.
Nah, I'm not going to get into that leak. Nope. I ain't going to do it.
Not gonna do
Let's just talk about what we're hearing about the plans to reveal Doctor Doom's face to the audience, but not to the characters on screen. So we know, we're wondering, but we're also wondering, when are they going to see his face? Because now that just built the suspense and leads to something big reveal, a little bit different. Luke, I am your father, but still very satisfying for everyone involved. What do you think if this is indeed the plan?
I think narratively it makes the most sense for casual viewers who are going to be the ones that power the box office. A lot of people don't know that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doom. Lots of people still don't know, right? We know because we pay attention to Comic-Con, we pay attention to dirt sheets, we pay attention to all that stuff. But my mom don't know. Some people I'm friends with don't know. So for them to show it in the beginning, exactly. For the show in the beginning, and we know, and then the whole time he has this mask on, and we're knowing, oh my god, like that tension throughout the movie is gonna be, oh my god, when they finally see his face, they're gonna freak out. I think that narratively will make the movie more satisfying for viewers. I think this is a smart way to do this.
I agree. I think giving the audience that taste, and we know, but letting us wait for the ball to drop with the people that know Tony's face and are going to have this what the heck moment once Dr. Doom's face is revealed and it's RDJ. That is something that really pulls the audience in, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and gives you a big reveal moment for everyone involved that I think will pay off in dividends rather than just showing it all in the beginning.
Yeah, space it out. We have this whole long saga to go through. There's no reason to like just blow the whole load like right in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to Kenny's point, Spider-Man is definitely going to crash out when he sees that his Uncle Tony is the face of the biggest villain they're going to face in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that is another way that it's going to pay off, because we know that connection that Peter Parker and Spider-Man have with Robert Downey Jr. and how impactful his death was, and in subsequent, how impactful the reveal will be to him. I'm just wondering, though, because they're keeping very coy how big of a character Spider-Man will be in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that? Like, because that, in all intents and purposes, should be the main character of Secret Wars, but it seems like they're holding back a little bit. How much do you think Spider-Man will be involved in Secret Wars?
I think he'll be involved as much as he's been involved in the Avengers movies. I think they're holding away from making him the main character because they don't own him fully. So like Infinity War, he was in it, but he wasn't like the main thing, and then they took him out, and then he came back in Endgame, but he was like at the end of Endgame, right? And I don't think I don't think it's gonna be that much of a gap, but I don't think he's going to be in it as much as we want. There will be that reaction of right, like I think there'll be a lot of confusion too, because think about it, he sees this Doom's face, it looks like Tony Stark, it's not Tony Stark. He'll have his moment, but these other heroes are not going to understand because all that history is erased from their mind because of what happened in No Way Home. So that whole conversation will be interesting.
Which is what,
and then,
but you know, like, because people are going to be like, why is he crashing out so hard? Like, he wasn't there for anything. And then they're like, well, keep in mind, they know Spider-Man.
They know Spider-Man.
So they don't
know that relationship.
Spider-Man has worked with Robert Downey. They do know that that Robert Downey brought Spider-Man to Germany to fight Black Panther and the duo and stuff like that. So there is still that connection with Spider-Man and Iron Man. So so it's interesting. And the question is, how long are they going to play with this? Everyone doesn't know Peter, because I'm kind of getting over it already, to be honest. Like, I think it's kind of getting played out. Like, I think it's cool, but it's like, we can't just do this forever, right? Like, it's cool to see where he's at in the Spider-Man movie, but at some point I'm like, bro, you're gonna have to reveal yourself again to the heroes you're working with. Like,
I hope this is the start of Secret Identities being brought back to the MCU, because the whole I kind of miss that. Like, because
even within the community, because
that's always been a big thing. There was a long time where the X-Men would like hug Spider-Man and bring him and don't know that he's Peter Parker. And I like that.
Comfortable working with someone I don't know. You know, I'm like, I don't know. This guy could be like Robert Downey behind the mask. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. I like the interesting aspect of Chris Evans, Steve Rogers being a focal point here, but maybe not the full like main character. I like the idea of centering. For Doomsday. I like it centering around characters that we know, and then bringing the problem to the characters that maybe some people are not familiar with. Because the way it sounds through a lot of the promotion, that Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic is going to have a lot of FaceTime with this dude.
As he should. Yeah.
Because he talks about he's been FaceTiming with Robert Downey Jr. They've been talking a lot. They're building that relationship to have that classic Reed versus Doom relationship. No. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of different people have to have interactions with this guy. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the driving force, at least for Doomsday, should be a Reed Richards, Dr. Doom connection. That should be a very strong driving force to know that you try to erase me from your history. I was there. I helped with your first mission. You tried to get rid of me. So why would I go to the United Nations meeting? I don't trust you guys anymore. That's why I wasn't there. I've been planning to get back at you guys for trying to erase me from your history. Like, I was there too. I don't know. There's just so much you can really play with, but I think the real question is this the best way to reveal Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom to the audience and to the characters in the movie? Because right now the plan is nobody in the movie is going to know that it's Robert Downey Jr. We will know. So we'll have that suspense, but nobody else will know. And this will be a heavy theme going into Secret Wars, it seems.
Yeah. I think execution is where any idea could sound great on paper, but I think the execution of how they do it is what matters. If they really want to lean into this is Doom, and we want to build out this character without tying it too much into the fact that it's Robert Downey Jr. playing it, and we just get this really classical Doom, this theatrical, amazing villain, and then later on, that's when all the emotional, oh my god, he looks like Tony stuff comes. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Let him do the terrible stuff first, and then when it's revealed to be someone that looks like Tony, then it makes it more impactful.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, I think if this is true, keep in mind, guys, this is a rumor, but there is a lot of spoilers coming out because they pushed it out to December. Now a bunch of people are able to read the script and like know what's going on. So like pretty much in the next month or so, we'll probably know exactly what this movie is going to be about, which means they should probably drop a trailer to just get it out there and get us stoked. So regardless of knowing kind of what the movie's about and what's going to happen, at least they can distract us by just having an epic trailer and getting us excited anyways.
And also these scripts change so much during production that
100%.
all this stuff might not even be in the movie by the time we get it, because they change it so much.
That's true. That is very true. But I'm really excited if this is the plan. And you know, to Kenny's point, a lot of people are going to block out everything going forward. They ain't going to read anything. They ain't going to do it. Unfortunately, when you're in our space, I mean, I read everything, you know, like, I don't know. It's just, it's hard for me to not be in the know and want to know and want to talk about it with you guys, because in my mind, it's all speculation until we actually see it. Okay. And when you actually see it, did they pull it off? Did it make sense? Did they do it right? Because you can know what's happening, but the way that it unfolds, they could just not stick the landing, or they could stick the landing more than you ever heard about it on paper. So I'm really excited. I think this is a great way to unmask Robert Downey Jr., if you will. And I want to hear from you guys. Do you like that the audience will see that it's Robert Downey Jr. behind the mask, but the characters won't, so that it builds suspense and we're waiting for the ball to drop with the characters that know his face? Or do you think maybe the mask should be on the whole time, keep it a secret, drop it in Secret Wars? Drop a comment below and let us know your guys' thoughts. All right, guys. Man, this one went on long, but I had a feeling it was going to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had to go through that saga for, you know what I mean, for the Paramount, you know, buy of Warner Brothers. But we did say that we would look at the winners thus far. So let's jump in here real quick, take a look at some winners, and then sign off because I'm hungry. I'm hangry.
You're hangry?
I'm hangry. All right. So for Best Supporting Actress, we got Amy Madigan from Weapons.
Yes.
Let's go. For Best Supporting Actor in a Movie, we got Sean Penn, One Battle After Another.
It's another win.
Best TV Drama Ensemble, we got The Pit.
Not surprised.
Best Actor in a TV, Movie, or Limited Series, no surprise. Winner is Owen Cooper, Adolescent.
He's just sweeping.
Best TV Comedy Ensemble, we got The Studio.
Absolutely deserved. Even though Abbott Elementary is fantastic, and that could have won
a lot too.
Yeah, The Studio is so good.
Yeah, and Hacks is fantastic. And I love Only Murders. And The Bear is not a comedy. All right. Best Actor in a TV Drama Series, Noah Wiley, The Pit.
Isn't it his second time winning? Like, didn't he win for season 1?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think this might still be season 1, actually.
This might still be okay.
Because of the way the year unfolds for the Best Actress in a Comedy Series, Catherine O'Hara, The Studio. And we had a beautiful acceptance speech from Seth Rogen, because unfortunately Catherine O'Hara passed away. So I guess that was really cool to see. I can't wait to rewatch that. Best Actress in a TV, Movie, or Limited Series, we got Michelle Williams, Dying for Sex.
I heard that show's really
crazy
good.
Because I thought Christine was sweeping house for Adolescents. And Sarah Snook was great in all her. Oh, no. Erin Doherty. I think she was the
one winning.
Therapist. Yeah. Best Actor in a TV Comedy, Seth Rogen, The Studio. Best Actress in a TV Drama Series, Carrie Russell, Diplomat. That's crazy.
I heard The Diplomat is great. So
I tried to watch it. It was boring as hell.
Okay.
I couldn't get into it. I thought Rhea Seehorn and Pluribus would have won this bad boy. Best movie stunt ensemble, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Of course.
Best TV stunt ensemble, The Last of Us. Not Andor? That's crazy. Or Stranger Things? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Is that everything? Oh, best movie ensemble. Oh, no, this is everything. Oh, so they're not the movies yet. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, they're not done yet.
Perfect. I can go jump in there. All right, guys. Well, that will do it for the show. Zach, where can the good people find you, my friend?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Zach Goulburn, spelled exactly like that right there. Goulbourne. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. This Tuesday, I should be doing a live stream where I rank all the movies that I saw in February. So that should be fun. And join me for that.
What time is it?
It's most likely 7 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
Okay. And you can find me at the Evan Edition. I am on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Tune in, subscribe, like, comment. I love hearing from you guys. I love the conversations that I've been having. I've been getting some huge paragraphs of their ideas on Spider-Man and what they want for, skipping 4 years and all that stuff. It's been really great to hear from you guys. And also some rude people, because that's the internet. But
yeah,
keep it respectful, keep it fun, because that is what this community is about. And that's the kind of conversations we have. So thank you for tuning in. Everyone in the live chat, Kenny, Kevin, Akers.
Stacey.
What?
Stacy, Acres of Movies.
Yes,
Stacy. Yeah.
Stacy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of it. And tune in next week where we have great stuff to talk about again. Have a great rest of your week. Go see a movie. Go watch a TV show. And we'll talk about it later. All right, my friends. Take care. Goodbye.
It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. The Evan Edition. It's the Evan Edition.
Oh, man.